Yeah, it's been a while. No excuses to be made here, but I'm going to try to get back to it. But let's get on with the review. I'll talk about that later. Alright, so last night I saw Creed 2. And I want to talk about it, because that's what I do. Not gonna launch into a rap here. That would just be inappropriate. First, some background. I've seen the first Rocky, the first Creed, and now this one. So when you're watching this review, keep in mind I haven't seen this kind of story over and over and over again. You know, only 3 times. Didn't really... I just haven't gotten too sick of it yet. And, you know, to the people that have this in the first one, you'll most likely have a feeling of familiarity. And depending on what type of moviegoer you are, that might be fine, or it may bore you to heck. But I can say right off the bat, it really didn't for me. Creed 2 does what every sequel should do, in my opinion. Improve on the predecessor, and continue the story. First, a brief summary. Creed 2 follows the 2015 movie, and in this one, Adonis Creed, son of Apollo Creed, is at the height of his career. He's won the title of heavyweight champion of the world with Rocky in his corner, and everything's good. Then he gets challenged by Viktor Drago, trained by his father, our #1 Russian enemy in the 80s, Ivan Drago, which is the man who killed Adonis's father. And we sort of go from there. You know, I don't want to go into spoilers. One thing about this movie is, yes, it's a little predictable, but it doesn't follow the same structure that the past movie did. There are multiple fight scenes and training montages in this one. It just doesn't go in quite the same way that the first one did. So while I'm sure that it's not completely different from other Rocky movies, doesn't make any unheard of decisions or anything, it didn't do verbatim the same movie as the first one, just with the characters switched around or something. So while you won't find yourself surprised at everything that happens, you are seeing a different movie than the last one. Another thing that really stood out is I actually feel kind of bad for the villain in this movie. Florian Montagne doesn't give an overly showy performance, but you can tell by his facial expressions and his body language that he's really not having a great time. His family is clearly putting a lot of pressure on him, and you can definitely sympathize with him. Also, our titular fighter was given a lot more depth this time around. You know, in the first one, his whole arc was that he learned that he could carve out his own legacy, and then he needed to stop proving it to everyone else, but instead prove it to himself. And that came with a lot of egotism and aggressiveness on Creed's part, which fit that story, but here it's toned down a little bit, and he learns to be a lot more sensitive, which, if you've seen this movie, you know why. You know, again, I don't want to divulge into spoilers. I think Michael B. Jordan's performance here was stellar, as per usual, and Tessa Thompson's character, Bianca, is given a lot more screen time, which I appreciated, because I really liked her character in the last one. And I really like that she isn't playing the worried girlfriend archetype that we see, you know, in movies like this. She's actually really supportive of him, and is always trying to make him, you know, move forward in his life, which was kind of cool. I think she made it so that this movie isn't just a sports movie. It's a family drama, which I think was a direction that really worked. So, as you guys probably know, if you've been keeping up with the news around this, Ryan Coogler left the project this time around because he was working on Black Panther, so he's replaced by Stephen Caple Jr., a director with a few small productions under his pun definitely intended belt. I was a little worried because I thought Ryan Coogler did a really great job with the first one, but I was relieved by the time the title card popped up. Stephen Caple Jr., you know, he kept the handheld shots that really bring this down to earth. You know, the handheld shot that, like, spin around, like, the characters and stuff that I thought were really cool from the first one. and you know, there's all those slow motion shots of people getting punched in the face and spitting out blood, but I think he adds some extra flavor to it. I really like the part where Bianca and Creed's mom's discussion was cut over Creed stepping into a pool as part of physical therapy, and when he went underwater, the voices in the other scene became distorted like they would sound underwater. Like, nice touches like that made me really not feel Coogler's absence here too badly. You know, I'd be happy to see him, you know, pop up in the third one, but honestly, you know, Stephen Caple Jr., you know, he deserves a shot here. I think he's a really promising director just based on this movie that I've seen from him. So, now let's get into some negatives. I really didn't like that they kept pretending as if that was Tessa Thompson's real voice. She sounds like Beyonce at her most auto-tune, and I was like, this girl is literally carrying a microphone in a boxing arena. I don't know if you've ever been in a boxing arena. Like, how can you hear her with so much clarity and, like, with that many vocal effects? Like, that's a really minimal setup there. So, like, I really didn't like that. That was just incredibly distracting for me. It was sort of was in the first movie, but I think here it was, they really doubled down on it. And as I said before, you know, this is a good sequel, and I think it's better than the first one, but it didn't break new ground. You know, you don't walk away from this movie feeling as if you watch an Best Picture worthy film that will be talked about forever. But I walked into theaters knowing what I was getting, a Rocky movie, and that's what I got. I really don't see what much else they could do. I know that sounds bad, but it's just like, what more can you do with this story? You know, let me know. I heard Rocky 5 was sort of different, but people hated that movie, so I don't really know. But I really enjoyed this movie, you guys, and I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. You know, based on this review, that might seem a little puzzling, but, you know, keep in mind, these ratings are based on enjoyment. I might give it a little credit if there's, like, some objective good, as objective as you can really get with quality. But, you know, overall, it's mainly a subjective rating, so that's just about how much I enjoyed it, how much I would, like, recommend it out of 10, if that makes any sense. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's pretty inconsistent. Anyways, I am really looking forward to bringing more reviews to you guys. I might be getting an AMC Stubs A-List membership soon, and if that's so, it means I'm going to be seeing a lot more movies. You know, where I'm living right now, the theater is within really short walking distance, and I've been going to it pretty frequently recently. So now that a lot of the major schoolwork is out of the way, that's going to open up a lot more opportunities, I think. Also, this is the 27th movie I've seen this year, and I'm looking to see some more, so I can make a big video where I review all the stuff I've seen. So feel free to recommend stuff I should watch. Be sure to look at my Letterboxd first to see what I already have seen. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you like my other content for some reason, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Mighty Roar. Why haven't I stopped doing this outro? It's so bad. I don't even know.